Alrighty, welcome to episode 123 of Tokwa's Ask Us Anything. As usual, it's been a pretty busy news week. In the spirit of Christmas giving, Tesla is offering a free 1 month trial of Enhanced Autopilot to Tesla owners in Australia. This gives owners an opportunity to try the additional features of EAP before committing to its $5,100 cost. The US state of California has passed a law coming into effect in 2023 which bans Tesla from naming its top-tier autopilot offering as Full Self-Driving or FSD. Part of the law states, a manufacturer or dealer shall not name any partial driving automation feature or describe any partial driving automation feature in marketing materials, using language that implies or would otherwise lead a reasonable person to believe that the feature allows the vehicle to function as an autonomous vehicle as defined in section 38,750 or otherwise has functionality not actually included in the feature. Tesla has announced that it has now achieved a weekly 4680 production rate of 868,000 cells, sufficient to produce approximately 1,000 cars per week or 52,000 cars per annum. In a move that appears to clear the way for further promotion, Tom Zhu, Tesla China's head, has stepped down from being its legal representative and general manager. Although he does retain his position as chairman of Tesla China, there are strong suppositions that Zhu may take up a more senior position at Tesla in the US, which may include that of CEO, a role which is currently held by Elon Musk. And that was this week's news. Indeed it was. And welcome everyone to the last Ask Us Anything episode of 2022. So if anyone is new, please do say hello if you're comfortable in doing so, perhaps in the next 10 seconds so we can have the customary 10 seconds of silence before we move on. But yeah, if anyone is new, please unmute yourself and say hello. Or maybe perhaps a bit later on. So that's totally cool. Has anyone got a question to kick us off? Actually, I have a question.
You want to? Oh, yeah.
Richard Chapman, where are you?
There you go. You're on mute, buddy.
When you're after you've muted yourself, so you got to restart that sentence.
Here I am.
In fact, I'm just going to spotlight you for everyone so that we can all see what you're doing. Hang on 2 seconds.
All
there
right.
we go.
Well, you don't want to see me. What you're going to want to see is this, which is Harold's old Tesla Model X, which he sold to me like a fool, which has now become a camping and in fact, barbecue snag cooking vehicle.
Wow.
We're up in Shark Bay. And yeah, the back of this car is now basically where we cook and do the washing up. And here's the power, which is also connected into the power supply over there. But man, it's just been such a brilliant camping vehicle. Normally we've got an esky in that side, which you can easily get to with the Falcon Wing doors. And we've got the picnic basket in that side. And because these steps obviously are then, well, they then become a seat or somewhere for James to put his have his breakfast in the morning or sit on, and then also because the front at the up here is so big, I've got a full size, brought my entire toolkit. But yeah, it's been brilliant. Yeah, it's just actually just an epic camping vehicle.
Looks awesome.
And yeah.
Fantastic. That's fantastic.
Yeah, it's been absolutely brilliant. Such a great form factor. Hello. I'm going to put cheese on it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, hang on.
All right.
There we go. So yeah,
that's fantastic. That's fantastic. It's funny, Richard. My car used to be fairly messy. I used to have a bit of crap in the back, but I don't feel so bad anymore.
Yeah, you know how you were saying. Hang on, James. Hang on. Yeah, you know how you were saying that it's it might get washed more than you did. Well, it's definitely going to need it now.
That's awesome. That's fantastic. Awesome. Okay, you're back off spotlight, so that's cool. So tell us, how did your trip actually go up there, charging wise? No problems?
Oh yeah, no, fine. Yeah, okay. So what did we do? So Emma picked me up from work on Friday. We went straight to Jurien, hour and yeah, got an hour's charge at Jurien while having dinner, and then got to where accommodation in Jero at 10. I think we got there quite late, and then in the morning I dropped Emma and James off to the IGA to go and Woolies to go and get stocked up for provisions. And the shopping centre, yeah, in Geraldton. And while she was doing that, I then went off to the very generously donated and provided and set up TOCWA DC charger over by the port. I did that while repacking the car, and that, yeah, the timing of that worked out perfectly. And then we went north, and then stopped at Billabong Roadhouse. And I think we stayed about 3 hours there. So our Model S has got the old dual chargers, the 22 kilowatts, so it can charge it up to about 120 k's an hour is the most I've ever seen it go. James was asleep in the X when we got there, so we took it in turns to sit in there with him, which obviously that was then chewing through a bit of power to then run the aircon while we were charging. So it's got 17 kilowatt charging, so that chewed that. I think it was charging at 60 k's an hour. Once he woke up and we got out, it was charging at 70. So yeah, we literally just about managed to get here. Well, obviously we could have lowered the speed if it had been, less charge, but yeah, so we managed to get here. I think you seem to get the range that it says that you will, but if you go above that, it seems to chew into it. So it's interesting that the X
Actually, sorry, Richard.
exactly
I've just had some crappy internet just then, so you've just sort of paused a little bit. In fact, everyone paused except for me, but because I'm recording, no one else will notice. Can you please just repeat that about the last thing we heard clearly was when you had the air conditioner running, you were getting about 60 k's an hour. So then what happened after James woke up?
So after James woke up and we went and just sat in Billabong Roadhouse and eating and drinking in there, I think it went up to about 70 k's an hour charge rate, which obviously then meant that we did leave after about 3 hours, which we didn't want to get to here. Oh no, actually, sorry, we got here about 7, I think, and then I think it was and then we got spent the next 3 hours sorting ourselves out. So we didn't want to get here later than 7, and that all went perfectly to plan. But the reverse on Friday, we're hoping that we can get home back to Freo in one hit, because if we can leave here with a full charge, we don't have to stay as long at Billabong Roadhouse. And then hopefully Geraldton, and then Jurien, and then home. So or Karen up and then home. So
cool.
so coming up, we needed to spend a night somewhere, but going back, I think we should be able to do it. Well, barring any incidents, we should be able to do it all in one hit. So.
Yeah, cool, awesome, fantastic. No, it's great to see a car that's had basically the equivalent of 15 years standard usage. Still going strong, as strong as ever, basically.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, it's just I can't get over just what a great form factor it is for road tripping and for camping. Whereas I'm just trying to pull up the number of Ks it's got now. I think it's about 223,000. So yeah, still going still going strong.
It's going better, Richard, because you've got the latest holiday update. You can play Auld Lang Syne tonight.
Maybe.
Have you got used to the steering yoke yet, mate?
Oh no! Well, no. Do you know what? No, we have got used to it. Do get it. I think, we probably would like to change it back. I think just because I don't know whether it's because we've both been taught in the UK where we're taught to feed the wheel and all that. It's just so ingrained that we just sort of can't get past it. But I do get it because it does make the dash so easy to see. So I'd almost prefer it on the S actually rather than the X.
Well, what you
Yeah.
can do is swap steering wheels. Actually, what I'll do is I will get you the
Well, I did
the
think
old
that.
round. I'll get you the old
Yeah.
round steering wheel. I can whip it off and yeah,
Yeah.
take the yoke off. But I guess, look, for me, when I first put it on, it was sort of like a gateway to what was going to be the new Model X, which obviously hasn't arrived in Australia yet. And you have zero option of a round steering wheel. It's going to be the yoke or nothing.
Yes.
Mm.
I
Maybe
think with that,
Harold,
like,
it's getting ready for the Cybertruck. I would have thought.
That too, because the Cybertruck's going to have a yoke as well, and that's no yoke.
Boom, boom.
Yes, and the crowd roars. Thanks for that applause. That was awesome. We've got a really lively crowd here tonight. Okay, so is anyone new that wants to say hello, just in case?
I'll quickly say hello, Daniel.
G'day, Daniel. Welcome.
Yeah, cheers. Yeah, so I picked up my car on the 7th of December. Yeah, just the rear-wheel drive. Great car, but yeah, I've already tried out the auto park and had it do some rim damage, things like that. It's like great, but anyway, I'm over that. It's got this little ding now, so it's all good.
Well, Daniel, congratulations and commiserations. I think Richard Cooper might have a story that might make you feel just slightly better about initial dings. As if I didn't know what the story was, please tell us, Richard, how what happened immediately after your delivery of your Model 3.
Well, two things. I waited 1,309 days after I put down my first down payment. So it's 3.5 years for my Model 3 performance. And I took the family out first run, got 5Ks and just clipped a curb just because it was different to my other car. And immediately the dash lit up, said, pull over immediately. What the heck? Pull over and I ruptured a rear tyre.
Oh,
5 kilometres. So it was back on a flatbed 2 hours after it arrived on a flatbed.
okay, you beat me.
So then I took the 20-inch wheels off it and put 18s and I couldn't be happier.
There you
So
go.
I've already got my 19-inch wheels from my Model Y performance. They're in the garage waiting for the car.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Very good.
And my TPMS sensors, it's all ready to go.
And speaking of which, I did check there's no VINs issued as of 2 hours ago. So we're still waiting for our January to March delivery next year, which is kind of around the corner. But
So
yeah,
Daniel,
so
why
Oh,
What was that?
Richard's.
did you get a
Richard's
Model Y or a
version.
Model 3? Your new
Model
car?
3.
All right.
Yeah.
You love it.
I've already had a
Fantastic.
few comments because the number plate started with 1 HSV. And I've had a few people in car parks go, oh, you can't have that on a Tesla.
you know what? You can have it on
Yes,
any
you can.
car you like.
Yeah.
It's better than the customized number plate. It just like annoys people. It's awesome.
Yeah, exactly. So HSV, that's interesting. So we really are running through the H's pretty quickly. We'll be into the I's pretty soon.
Yep.
Fantastic. Alrighty, so has anyone got any questions or comments? I think it was James that just asked us to rerun through the news, but I just put that through the chat there, James, so that
I've got
you can see what
I've got a
happened.
question.
And go, Paul.
Well, I've got a cool thing for this free auto full self-driving and all that sort of stuff. I was mucking around in the driveway and Leonie goes, what's that shiny thing on your front right tire? And I go, oh no. And I looked up and it was actually a tack, like a screw actually in the thing. So I was like, that was really cool. So, went to Autobarn and got myself, the manual one and used it to actually get it in line. And then I jumped in the car and did the thing, and then I actually pulled it out and put it in. So I've done the plug. So I was like, used it already. So it was pretty cool.
So Paul, do you mind going across to my place? Because I've got a tech screw that's been in my car for the last 2.5 weeks. And I'm hoping that when I find the car, when I return to it in a couple of weeks' time, that the tyre won't be flat. I've got no logical reason to think it will or won't, but who knows?
As long as you don't move it, so you'll be right.
It might be okay, yeah. It did seem to hold its pressure for the 3 days before I had to leave, 2 days. So let's
Yeah.
here's hoping.
The car had made it flat, so I don't know how long I've had it in there, but the head was flat with the thing, and I was just like, I wouldn't have known until it had popped it. So that was
So-
pretty cool.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Now here's a question I'm going to ask for a friend. I happen to know someone that's not in Australia at the moment and has only got autopilot on his Model Y. So I guess the question is, how long does this Happy Holidays offer last, I wonder? Or maybe I
It's
need to get
30
someone.
days.
No. I mean, to actually before you activate it. Like, I wonder if it's going to
Oh.
run out of activation time. Because
I don't know.
anyone who saw it would have activated it immediately.
Yeah.
But I want to sort of strategically activate it closer to when I get back. Sorry, my friend gets back.
Yes.
So that my friend can enjoy enhanced autopilot for a whole month rather than just
Yeah,
part of the
exactly.
month.
Oh, I
But then-
used it on the freeway. It was a little scary actually, because I'm used to being in control, and it's changing lanes, and I'm just going, hang on. So
Yep. But
not
even
when
if
I
you
would
turn
do it either.
even if you turn off Navigate and Autopilot or Auto Lane Changes, sorry, Navigate and Autopilot, the killer app with Enhanced Autopilot is the fact that you can do semi-automatic lane changes. So when you flick the indicator, it just does it
Yes,
for you. You don't have to look
I-
because you know the car will look, and it's really awesome.
Yeah, I finally figured that out. It was actually quite funny because I've been driving normal autopilot for years, and then I was doing this, and it was, sort of jerking across, and I'm going, what the hell's going on? And I'm like, it's like it was fresh or something like that. So, and I did
Max
the dickhead
mode there, Paul.
Yeah, Mad Max, all that stuff. It was a bit slower than the way I drive, which is Performance Model 3. So I'm waiting for it to have that sort of.
Don't change the auto lane change to Mad Max, Paulie.
Yeah, I did.
He did because Paul
Yeah,
doesn't drive Mad Max. Paul drives Mad Max on
Mad
meth.
Paulie.
No, he just drives Mad Max on meth.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, and I did in the car park call it to me sort of stuff as well, which freaked Leonie out. And it was quite funny because people were like, what the hell? That car's just driving itself. So
Yeah.
I've sort of done all the things.
I did that in the client's car park, and the manager was looking out his window. He saw my sunshade still up and the car just going past his window. He came running out. He's like, oh my God, what the hell?
That would be funny because it looks like you can't see, but of course the cameras aren't shaded. That is hilarious.
Exactly. Yeah.
You should get a video of that, Daniel, and post it up. That will be excellent fun.
I know. They're so smart. Tesla's so smart. You'll get so many people that'll actually buy it that are like, yeah, nah.
Yeah.
And they'll get it.
It's all about
I'd already bought
technology.
it. But I find
Go to Target.
the lane change is a little bit. Sometimes it will offer to do it wants to do a lane change when you're doing the navigate on autopilot, and you can clearly see there's a car there, so I have to cancel it. Yeah, it's a bit weird with that.
It takes its time. It'll do it, but I don't. I prefer to drive. Drive in normal autopilot.
Yeah.
Daniel, if it did offer it and you did confirm, it still wouldn't actually do the lane change
Yeah, I
until it was
realised.
clear. But
Yeah.
sometimes it does do some weird behavior. I've often seen the cars offer to change the lane, say into the right-hand lane. Clearly, when there's an off ramp, it has to catch 500 meters down the road, and you're in the middle of lane of 3. So you've got to go to the left, not the right, but it will offer to go to the right, which is a bit crazy. So semi-automatic's good where you've got to confirm, so that way it doesn't do the wrong thing.
Yeah. 3 days after I got the car, I had to drive through that notorious intersection, Leigh Street, Manning Road, that you talk about frequently. That was fun.
Did it try to kill you?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I was like,
it
I used
does.
to live just around about 200 meters from that intersection, and I was like, I knew that's why I remembered it, and then I was like, I'm just going to hold onto this steering wheel really tightly because I know it's going to go some crazy stuff. And yeah, it's like, what are you doing?
Yep, if you're in the left lane, it'll fully try and bin you into the lamp pole, which is in the center of the Y of the two.
Yeah.
Yeah, does it
Yeah,
all
it's
day,
crazy.
every day.
Yeah.
Fantastic. All righty. Anyone else got any other bits of news or questions to?
I need some reassurance from the group because I have a
Yes,
confession.
Steve, you're all right. Go for it,
Now,
buddy.
I flew across to Canberra on Thursday morning, and I've just arrived back home. And during that entire time, I drove an ICE car.
Oh no,
And I want your empathy. I feel
no
dirty.
empathy. You're excommunicated from the group.
Just have a very good shower, very thorough shower
Yeah.
there.
You'll be right. Yeah.
Or a couple of red
Steve.
wines have helped.
What an ice hole.
Boom.
Dearie me. Look, it's okay, Steve. No one's perfect,
happens.
and yeah, exactly.
It's like, where's park? I go to, oh, that's not park. Damn it. I want to go in reverse. Got to find the bloody gear change. My goodness, no regen. Oh,
And do you mean to say that when you step out of the car, the engine's still running and the door's unlocked, and it's like, why doesn't it just turn itself off and secure itself?
it's all manual stuff. Oh my God.
We turned the windscreen wipers on when you were going to indicate.
Oh, it was a shambles.
Dearie me. Actually, since Damo is here, I might as well confess. Last week I did say that I would, in the next hour after the program, while everyone was sleeping, I'd be going to see a Plaid Model S. Well, as it turns out,
Yeah.
that was a bit of a wild goose chase. The S's aren't actually open for display yet. It's probably going to be early January, which always next week. So I'm hoping, although I actually did see a couple of Model S's and X's being delivered. So, so unfortunately, Damo, I haven't actually sat in a Plaid S yet, but, and I don't know if Nigel's going to be on, but he may well end up beating me by having a sit in one in Norway, but we'll see what happens.
The jealousy is strong right here, right now.
Oh, well, one day, Damo, you will be sitting in a Plaid Model S of your own.
Let's not even go there, please.
I just did, and I'm going there hard. So don't forget, Damo, one day you'll be sitting in your own, and you'll be down at the track pulling, I don't know what it does, 8s, whatever it is, 9s, whatever.
9.2.
There you go. There you go. I'm sure if you take all the seats out,
you get
and-
one run, Damo, then they ban you.
Nah, that's when you just, start hitting the brakes and just keep it under 10s all night, and then at the end of the night, give him a 9, and then, see you later.
Actually, that's what Tesla should do. They should have I mean, of course, it'll just get banned, but Tesla should have a accurate track time setting. So you just dial in the elapsed time that you want it to do, and it'll just hit that all day, every day, and then you'll win every handicap track meet.
So that'll be drag mode on top of track mode.
It'll be like drag mode. So you dial in a 10 and it just puts 10.000 every time. Imagine that. And imagine if it could do the Christmas tree, read it for you. So you just put in launch mode, you just put your foot on the pedal, and then when it sees the Christmas tree do its thing, it will go off the line with 0 reaction time. How's that?
Don't even need to be in the car.
Yes.
Self drag race.
So does that mean too, if they ban you as the driver, you say, "But hey, it wasn't me. I wasn't driving the car. It's driverless." That would be funny. That would be funny. Cool. Alrighty.
Question, please.
Yes, Mark. Go.
Yeah, go, Mark.
Just a quick one. My Tesla, I've just had it just over a year now. I picked up on the 16th of December. So I'm just getting round for a tyre rotation. Is there any particular place that's recommended for doing tyre rotations on Teslas south of the river? Or do you recommend Tesla?
Tesla definitely do them. I don't know the cost, to be perfectly honest, but you can certainly contact them for a quote. Look, I know Tyre Power, there's various branches of Tyre Power that people have had mixed results with. Generally, the Tyre Power in Claremont, which is what Tesla used to use before they set up their service center, certainly do a good job and are very knowledgeable, but I've heard some other branches are less so. But, individual results may vary.
So
but
really
really
maybe I'll just go to Tesla then, in that case.
if you find that to be convenient, absolutely. I mean, south of the river, anyone that's had any places they can recommend with good experiences,
I'm
perhaps?
north the river. I'm up at June.
Oh, sorry, north. Oh, sorry, I thought you said south. So anyone north the river that's had a positive experience that they'd like to share, Pete?
Yeah, Tire Power in Wangara is where I've taken my car, but they still don't have the hockey pucks. So just remember to bring them with you.
I've got a pack of those in the car.
Yeah, very good. But yeah, they've been pretty good. I've been at Claremont as well, Tire Power Claremont, like Harold said.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about doing my next tire change at Costco. So see how that goes. But yeah, I've had my cars there 3 times now at Wangara at least. And yeah, they've been good every time.
Right.
No
Did
problems.
you do a
I
wheel
think-
alignment as well, or just a rotation?
When it's needed, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. The last 2 times wasn't needed at all.
Yeah. And they're pretty honest
But I
that
know-
way, aren't they?
Say again, sorry, mate.
They're pretty honest that way. If you say just do a wheel alignment if necessary, they're pretty good on that.
Yeah, they seem to be. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. That's great.
And they
That-
I had a spare, and they put just a generic TPMS sensor in it.
Oh,
the
yeah.
tire pressure management sensor, and yeah, just charged me $40 for the generic one. And
right.
I asked them whether it would work with the car, and they said, yeah, it's the same frequency as a Tesla. So they knew that already, which I was quite impressed with. And yeah, it worked perfectly fine on the car.
Brilliant.
Hmm.
They're about $90, I think, the Tesla ones
Yeah,
are.
they're 100 each at Tesla. That's pretty well good going, Pete. $40.
So,
Yeah.
Pete, is that for which car, mate?
That was for the model. It was for the Model 3 Performance, the black with the, but that's the Stealth Performance, the one with the 18-inch wheels.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Um,
it doesn't have Bluetooth. It's got wireless, not Bluetooth. The new ones are all Bluetooth. They're significantly more expensive and harder to get hold of.
Gotcha.
See, they
Ah,
were telling me in Osborne Park the other day, Hell, and what's the other guy's name? The new Plaid, or the 23 Plaid now is coming out with the TPMS actually built into the tire.
Oh, wow.
Wow,
it's higher.
that's
Bloody hell.
really interesting.
That's weird.
Yeah,
Then you'd have to buy one each time.
Because it would sort of be a lump that it would make more. Because physics wise, it would make more sense for it to be where the valve is, because that's on the
Yeah.
inner diameter of the rim where there was
Yeah, they
less
didn't-
G-force.
didn't explain how it worked, Harold. They just said, yeah, the new Plaid apparently is coming out with the sensors actually built in the tire. So, like when you buy the tire, it'll come with an inbuilt TPMS sensor. I don't know where it is. If it's in the sidewall, or they
Yeah,
didn't really go into it with that. But they just said, yeah, it's actually going to be fixed into the tire.
I'll
Might
try
allow
if
for a big
Sorry, Mark, say that again.
might allow for a bigger battery.
Yes, and maybe they can sort of splay out the electronics a little bit
Yeah.
more evenly so
Yeah.
that the mass is more distributed. But then the biggest problem is tires. They flex a lot, as you're driving along the road. So,
and the heat generated on the tread pattern as well.
yeah, true. Absolutely. That's really interesting. That's interesting, Damo. I might try and do some homework for our next show. Actually, I think our next show, we're going to probably skip next week because we've got a casual meetup due, unless there's a date that's sort of like on a Tuesday instead that's preferable, and then we might still do an Ask Us Anything next week. But yeah, I'll try and do that as homework, Damo, to see that.
Yeah.
That's very interesting. Are you saying that's already there now, or it's coming? Oh no, you said 2020.
Oh, you didn't really say. He just
three
said
of-
like the new Plaid. Also, I assume the 23 Plaid has got the TPMS
PMS.
actually built into the tires.
Yeah, right. That's interesting. I know there's a few Europeans that have received Model S Plaids, and I think some of them are 2023 model year, if you call it that. So that'd be interesting to find out. Cool. Well, I'll treat that as a bit of homework to do, and hopefully
Yeah,
report back with.
they were quite busy. I was actually just there dropping them off a carton of beer for Christmas, so
Oh,
I
good
didn't
on
want
you.
to keep them. So
Was that before or after they serviced your car? Because you want to give it to them after the service.
No, you do it before, and then they do a good job.
You give it to them warm so they can't drink it.
Yeah.
Well, I did last year. I gave them a couple of
Yeah, but they might
slabs and some cider.
They might scull
the
it
aircon
hot.
gets that cold on my car. It stays cold all the way from south of the river to there.
Dearie me. Now,
Yeah, you got to look after those boys.
John Edwards, would you like to unmute briefly, please? If you can, and even show your face if you like. There we go. So can you please explain what this image is? John Edwards.
I think it's self-explanatory.
It's
So
a
what's
child
going-
well.
Please
what's-
don't put that photo on Facebook. That will go viral.
So
So-
what's going on, John?
So the most important part of this photo is the little white box at the rear of the generator.
Right
Can
here.
you see that?
Yep, I'm not sure if that mouse
Yeah.
is swirling around.
Yeah, it is.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, so most of you know we did the Perth to Sydney Marathon. Yeah, that's the one, Harold, thank you. And I got some negative press about, driving along with chargers hanging off the back of trucks. Wasn't a good look. So that's a 120 kilowatt charger
Wow.
compressed into that. It's 900 by 900 by 400 box, coupled to that generator there. And the reason it needs to be that small is we need to open the door to the control panel of the generator there. So it's all within on board of the truck, and it can charge 2 cars at once, or 100 kilowatts singly, or 2 cars at 50 kilowatts, or whatever. And the added benefit is that it can tow the trailer, so it can take the car to different events, whatever. Yeah, so there it is, guys. This is homegrown. All the development of this has happened here in Perth. Different events been going on, and thanks for the support. A lot of you guys have come down and helped and put money in and put time in, and we're pretty close to. This is fairly close to the ultimate solution.
Nice
That's
work, John.
Awesome, John.
Looks really good.
So just out of interest, on the way back from Sydney, I called into Adelaide. I met up with a guy called Tim Possingham, who's the organizer of the Adelaide Rally and also the Adelaide Motorsport Festival. Young guy. He's about half my age, right? So he's about 30. And he said, John, you will be here. Your car will be here. Entry fees waived. We need a sustainability element to our motorsport festival, and you are the only thing we can bank on. So you will be here. Bring the car, bring the charging truck, bring everything. All expenses paid. So look,
Whoa.
guys, I've been pushing the motorsport side of things a little bit over the years. You guys have been supporting us, but this is a real big event. If you click on Adelaide Motorsport Festival on your Google, you'll see it's going to be a big event. We're going to be there, and we're the linchpin for the sustainability component of that. So thank you for support over the years.
Brilliant.
Absolute pleasure, John. I'm just bringing up Adelaide Motorsport Festival. So it's the 25th to 26th of March.
Yeah.
An awesome event. It's going to be a picnic atmosphere with Emotion Zone. There we go. So your car's going to be pride of place there, John.
Yeah, they're going to put the charge truck there, but we'll be doing several competition events as well. So over the 2 days, we'll actually be competing. I mean, he wants to put a named driver from Bathurst or somewhere like that, and I said, well, look, because he wants media attention, whatever, he wants a name or whatever, and I said, well, look, I'm okay with that as long as it's somebody that's positive towards EVs. If he's a V8 guy, negative towards EVs, not interested. So
I love them guys.
Who's the
So we'll
Formula
see.
One? Who's the ex-Formula One driver who's really big on it? Nico Rosberg? No, not Nico Rosberg. I forget who it is now, but he's really big on the Formula E, and they should get him to fly over and drive the car. Although I just
See how
don't remember his
it
name.
goes.
No, it's fantastic, John. It's awesome. It really is.
Cheers, Harold, and thanks for your support over the years as well. It's been great.
Yeah, no worries. Well, it's the whole community that's done the support, John. So that's
It's absolutely the community done support. And I can see several faces on this screen right in front of me come down and help support doing bits and pieces jobs here and there. So Richard Cooper, you can wave your hand right now, right? Come down and help the lot. So
All good fun.
fantastic.
You rock, John.
Now I just got this video link from James. Let's just see what it is. This is part of the TPMS. James, that's in the actual tyre itself?
Tracking, but McLaren shows how they put it in a little bump in the tyre, which you think would throw the balance out. But that's the only thing I could think of, anything like it.
Yeah, right. Cool. Let me just play it, see how it goes.
When the tires showed up for this customer, I thought they were defective. Bloop, 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 bloop. And with some quick interneting, I found there's an actual purpose for these things. The tires are for this McLaren 600 LT, and if the customer wanted to track this car, well, he could buy the Michelin Track Connect sensors. The sensors are these little pods that fit into the rubber cup of the tire. Those sensors then communicate with a receiver, and that receiver sends a signal to your smartphone where you can have live monitoring to view things like tire temperature and tire pressure. I learned something today. I hope you did too. Whoop. When the tires showed up for...
There you
So
go.
that was like $500.
Yeah, but you've got a Plaid Model S that's
Oh yeah, I suppose.
cost you a couple of $240,000. So what's $500?
I'll just get my wallet.
Yeah, why not?
He was saying that it's more of a safety thing, Harold, because the Plaid does over 300 k's an hour, and I don't know. He was saying it's much safer to do it that way.
Yes.
And you can pull them out and put them into the next time.
Yeah, exactly.
Not sure, Richard. As I said, I did sort of go on with it about him. I didn't want to keep him, but yeah,
That
sure.
specific system looks like you just pull out, put it in the next one.
Yeah, exactly right.
Accurate temperature of the tyre, because it's on
Yes.
the actual tyre itself, so you have real temperatures.
That's right. So you can actually get much more advanced information, which could be highly useful. Yeah, absolutely. Good work, James. Thanks for that link. All right. Anyone else have any other questions or comments? Oh, I see Nigel. Sorry, go on.
Oh.
So say that. Was someone going to say Anna? Anna, you got your hand up.
None. Hi.
Welcome.
Just figure out how to lower it. Yeah, I was just going to say thanks. I was on here a couple of weeks ago and we had the problem with the Wi-Fi. And we did what stupid people do, which is just keep trying doing the same thing, expecting a different result. And it did actually work eventually.
Oh, well, that's just proving the adage that if you do keep trying and hitting your head against the wall.
Thanks for the advice anyway, but we just took the old.
Fantastic. I'm not quite sure how to take that, but yes, keep bashing your head against the wall
No,
until it stops aching.
Range extend. We also did try range extender, but that didn't work either.
Yeah, cool. I mean, look, a lot of these things, sometimes the modems themselves will decide to go on a different frequency, different channel, and that can help it. Or sometimes the car just needs to look at it a few times before it gets it right.
Yeah. Also, I wanted to buy a spare mobile connector, just a 3-pin one to keep in the car in case I need it, so I don't have to keep remembering to take the one in the garage if I go for a long trip. And I know the Tesla shop is out of stock. Do you know where else you can get them?
So did you say that you mean for UMCs, the Universal Mobile Connector? Is that out of stock, is it?
Yeah, it shows up as being out of stock. It's been like that for a while, unless it's changed very recently.
It's been like that for about $10 now.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah, it's been like.
So sorry, Pete. So the UMC is out of stock for 10 days. Has been out of stock for 10 days.
Roughly, yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Emma, if need be, I've got a extra one. Yep.
Oh no, it's not an emergency. It's just a nice to have.
Well, we do have.
But I was just wondering if there's other sort of other places that sell them.
Not the Tesla UMCs. Tokwa does have an emergency stock of UMCs that are brand new, which we can sell you one. Now I think the price, it's 550, isn't it, on Tesla's store? I think that's right.
What? 1,050 then?
No. No,
you're not getting.
Tokwa actually.
I was saying the Latin thing. You know.
Yes. No, that's
1,050. So.
Yeah, that's right. So they are on Tesla's shop. Just to confirm, they are $550. I think I'm right there.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. So Tokwa has emergency ones that are for sale. There is an expedite fee of $40, so they're $590, but they are available immediately. So if for someone that doesn't want to wait, then you can actually buy one immediately.
No, that's okay. I don't want to take an emergency one. It's just a nice to have.
Yeah, well, that's cool.
Yeah, just to keep it in the car. That's all right. I'll wait. Every time I've been on the last couple of months as well, and they always seem to be out of stock when I go looking.
Just click on the link, because where it says out of stock, if you click on it, it'll also say click here to register your email to be informed when it's back in stock. So then you'll get an email immediately as soon as it comes back in stock. But do click, you have to click on the link to actually tell them and actually enter in your email address or your desired email address. And Tesla are fairly good. They'll usually send that email within a couple of hours of it actually going back into stock for any item for that matter.
Okay, I'll do that. Thanks.
Anna, could I suggest you consider, rather than buying a second UMC, that you consider getting a high power wall charger, and that way you keep the UMC in your car and you charge at home with the HPWC. Gives you greater charging capabilities. You get more energy into the car that way at home.
Yes, that would require a humongous effort in garage clean out.
Well,
which has been going on for about 25 years unsuccessfully for me. We literally
this could be
not
the
have a spare
catalyst.
wall.
This could be the catalyst of
And no
fundamental
reason to
change.
laugh either.
Yes, it could be.
But
At
this
least
could
it's
be
got 7 meters of cable to work around all the stuff in the garage.
But
Doesn't
Anna,
even
it could
notice it with all the other junk there.
it could be the catalyst of fundamental change. You know, this could be a tectonic movement of prior behaviours. So why not try the experiment?
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, it's a good idea. It's a good idea.
It is, as Steve says, it is actually a very
Anna,
convenient
whereabouts?
charging factor. So go, Pete.
Anna, whereabouts are you? North of the river, or?
South of the river.
Oh, okay, no worries.
Yeah, I haven't had
I
to
do-
charge quickly, and a slow overnight charge is fine for what I do most of the time. It hasn't been a big deal yet.
If need be, I've got a extra UMC that I bought that you can have for $550. It's brand new. It's a 10 and 15 amp plug as well. But yeah, I'm north of the river, so yeah, it would have to be when I'm sort of down that way.
No, that's okay. It's not urgent as long as it comes so far. But yeah, I haven't actually tried clicking on the link. I just assume they're always out of stock.
No, definitely click on the link because, like I said, then you can register your email, and it doesn't have to be your Tesla account email. It's just any email address, and they will email you back. And that applies for any product that's currently out of stock.
Thanks.
And Domo, that even applies to the Model S Plaid. You can get a notification when they're in stock.
I'll take the kids out of school and get one.
Recording in progress.
Yes. Oh, that was weird. Oh, someone's got. That's Pete. Yeah, thanks, Pete. You've just gone berserko. Actually, speaking of which, I have seen a video. I think it was on a tweet of a video from Tesla about Zoom being on in the car, and I think it was a Zoom call with Santa or something like that. Just correct me if I'm wrong. That's not in Australia yet, is it? Zoom?
No, just in the US so far.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Because I'm a bit remote from my car.
I
to
also
to
read
see.
that is it Zoom or Steam that requires a lot of
Steam
hard drive and grunts.
Yeah, it requires 16 gig, and even the refreshed Plaid S and X's, I think the pre-April, pre-May 2022 models only came with 8 gigabytes. So even though they're still a 2022 model, they're now, James Locke actually put that up on Twitter. His car is now classed as a legacy car, which means that he can't get Steam on it. So, but it's still a 2022, a current year car. So yeah, I just thought that was a bit unfair.
Oh, you gotta love Tesla.
Every car always gets better week in, week out. And every car you get by definition is a legacy car.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, how good is the latest update? It fixed so much of the shit that was annoying us, you know? Like you can now see with the cards are back and stuff like that. So you can see your odometer and your tire pressure back.
That is so good.
Yeah, I love it. And it brought the media closer to you as well. I mean, you can still
Only
have it on
you can
the
actually get it all the time as well.
Yeah. I was so impressed. Like all the things that were shitting me is all being fixed now. So
mine seems to be a bit more phantom braking.
Yeah, I noticed that with the full self-driving. It did that a couple of times.
Yeah.
Like on bridges, but when I'm going over, not under a bridge. So weird.
I'm under a bridge. Definitely under a bridge, and it did a couple of phantom brakes going down to Ravenswood from north Perth.
Yep. But normal autopilot was fine.
How the car's gone with, I guess you'd call it left lane sniffing, where it sniffs an off ramp and it wants to sort of. Sorry, Alex, I'll get to you in a sec. And it wants to sort of dive off the off ramp,
Mine did
slip
it
lane.
round about that Manning Road, which I wasn't aware of before at all till you mentioned it tonight, because I'd missed it obviously. but mine did it somewhere round about that area. It did a definite dive to the left. I had to really pull it back online.
Well, I was on the autobahn on the way to Bratislava a few days ago, so I could get some goulash poisoning and other things, and and that's just for you, Pete. And that was just for Pete. That's Pete's benefit. But what the car rather rudely did was at 130 k's an hour, which is the speed limit, it just reefed it, and this is a wet road. It just reefed it to the right off ramp, rather than following the dotted line, which was, maintaining the lane. And I must admit, it kind of got the car slightly unstable at that moment, which was a little bit disquieting. But anyway, it is what it is. Alex, and sorry, Pete, I might try and flick up those photos of some nice, lovely goulash and other things that we had in Slovakia. Alex, you got your hand up.
Yes, I do, Harold. I've got a question here that you may not have the answer to. With our 30-day trial of FSD1 package, do you reckon that the price would go up after 30 days?
No, I don't think so, because there's no indication. Elon Musk has always said that as FSD, and in California it's going to be FSD, that as more features become available locally, then the price will come up. But there's no indication of any of the additional features of FSD beta or even enhanced auto. Well, enhanced autopilot basically does everything it says, I think. But FSD beta, there's no indication of Australia getting it yet. And Elon Musk has promised in the past that you'd always get a little bit of notice before the price went up. So Rob, excuse me, Rob Dean, who I don't think is in the house today, he actually had a 1 month free trial of autopilot on his, I guess you call it version 1 autopilot, the Mobileye version of autopilot. And he actually had that as a free gift for a month a couple of years ago. And that wasn't to do with anything in particular. I think it's just as a matter of, it's effectively free advertising and try before you buy for the product. So there'll be a finite number of people that'll try it, really love it, and fork out the $5,100. But no, Alex, I personally don't think it's going to increase in price. I don't think the two things are related at all. It's just Tesla being strategic, giving people a free gift for Christmas, but also giving them the opportunity to love it and then go and buy it.
Yep, that sounds like a legitimate thing that Tesla would do.
Exactly. That's exactly right.
Your first hit's for free.
Exactly it.
That's right. And I must admit, enhanced autopilot is probably the best value accessory that you can get, because everything it offers, it actually works. It does. And having the automatic lane changes, or semi-automatic, the semi-automatic ones where you just put the indicator on while you're on autopilot and it will then automatically sweep across. Oh man, I would love that in Europe, because everything's all a bit opposite, and it'd be nice to have that reassurance of the car is not going to change lanes unless there's no one there. Which is pretty cool.
What are you driving around there, Harold? Have you hired a Tesla or?
Yeah, it's a long range Model Y, which in Australia there's only one of those, and that's one of the service vehicles. So I've already stuck the dongle. Yep, that's right. I've already stuck a dongle in it to have a look-see at the battery. I think from memory it's about an 80 kilowatt hour battery pack. And nice. I also checked that the Sexy Buttons dongle actually does what it's supposed to do, which is it suppresses auto high beams, which it does very well, and also auto wipers. The only thing I found that's a little bit annoying is it effectively permanently suppresses auto wipers, which when there's lots of rain or varying rain, that can be slightly annoying because you can't turn auto wipers on. even if they are on, it suppresses them. So you've got to go into semi-automatic mode where you've got to go, you know, one interval of intermittent all the way up to rapid wiping, but you've got to do that yourself. But look, in Australia where there's not a lot of rain, or particularly say in summer where there's not a lot of rain, it's just a killer feature because it just stops your car from seeing an insect as being a bit of rain schmutz or something. And
I don't know. I don't know how everybody else's results have gone, but over the last couple of updates now, my wipers and my lights have gone back to working flawlessly. It's it's good. I haven't had an issue with them coming on.
Yeah. Anyone else? Anyone else had any experience in that lately?
Yeah, last week I was driving at night and the bloody auto wipers were coming on, and I wanted to drive an autopilot and it wouldn't turn off. Where before I could have standard autopilot on, and you'd be able to turn them off, but it wouldn't. It refused. So in the end, I drove without autopilot.
After that update, the last few updates ago, Paul, where they've made it so in autopilot now you can't turn off auto wipers or auto high beam, but then there was heaps of issue with them coming on all the time, like running all day on a dry windscreen. But yeah, mine's been fixed now, so I don't know how everybody else's is going, but yeah, it's back to working awesome.
So Paul, what you could have tried is you actually turn off, and I've done this many, many times, turn off autopilot, disengage altogether, then clean your windscreen, like make sure, like, you know, you wet it with the thingy, know, press the button, make sure it is actually clean, and then make sure you've driven a little bit down the road and put on intermittent, or just put a single push of the wiper button to just do another wipe to make sure that the camera sees no water at all. And then once it looks pretty clean, or you think it's pretty clean, then re-engage autopilot, and then fingers crossed, presuming nothing else happens, it will then act normal and carry on without continuing to put the wipers on.
Yeah, I mean, it's fine. It seems to be fine the last couple of days. So, but yeah.
Well, speaking of which, excuse my ignorance, but what was the temperature the last few days in sunny Perth?
Is it? Oh, it's 24 at the moment. It was 30s. Yeah, 31 or something today, or something like that. It's been quite pleasant.
It was -9 here with the wind chill factor down to -20. My eyeballs froze.
Actually, so welcome.
And you've lost all your hair.
It froze off.
It froze off.
He went to flick his hair back, and it just all snapped off.
All flicked off.
Holy frozen
Nigel,
follicles, Batman.
So Nigel, that was an awesome self segue to yourself. So please tell us how your cruise has gone, is going, or did go.
We've reached the North Cape, and we've just left Kirkenes, which, as I said, it was forecast. Oh, by the way, all this I filmed.
Oh, cool!
Stop it! Hang on, I'm going to spotlight you just so we can see this.
Yeah.
That was a boring
I filmed
bit.
all this. It was in Tromsø, and that's Tromsø, the village, the town, city, whatever. So I filmed all these and just strung them together.
Oh wow!
From the boat.
That is that's awesome.
I tell you what, yes, it's brilliant. So we've just left Kirkenes, which is only 17 kilometers from the Russian border. And it's still open here because Norway's not in the EU. When the EU said close the borders, Norway said, yes, okay, fine. No, we're not. And they didn't. So it's still open here. So we just left Kirkenes, where it was forecast -13, but it reached a very temperate -9. And we went out for a several-hour walk in it, and tromped through some 2-foot deep snow just for the hell of it, because I haven't played in snow like that since I was a wee little nipper. And would you believe, I'm walking around and there's Ford Mustang Mach-E's, there's Model Ys, I saw a BYD Tang, quite a few EVs, and I saw some wall boxes on a wall, chargers, and there were a few EVs and plug-in hybrids that were just plugged into an outdoor socket.
Yes.
And even up here, where, as I said, the snow is just thick as, there were EVs, and I was amazed to see them, and they're just driving around. And I think, Harold, last week we were talking about studs on tyres, if you remember.
Yes,
and
absolutely.
They're not in Norway. They're not in Norway because they used to have them, but they damaged the road, so they banned them.
Right, very
So
good.
you can't get. So I've seen a few cars turn a corner and keep going sideways because here is just compacted ice on the roads.
Yep.
It's just, how the people drive, but they don't pile up like in America. So it's been quite amazing, the number of EVs that I'm seeing. I mean, Norway has got, I think it was November, was 87% or 85% were pure battery electric vehicles were sold. And I would say a quarter to a third of the cars I'm seeing are electric.
Yeah. Yep, absolutely.
It's quite amazing.
That does not surprise me. In fact, I'm just going to bring up an image. I took a photo of the tread of the winter tires on this Model Y, and that's not quite what I expected. Oh, here we go. And you can actually see that it's quite a fine tread pattern. So you've got lots and lots and lots of grip. These really are really good tires, and these are the winter tires. I think they were Hankook actually, but I didn't bother to have a very good look at the manufacturer. But that's what they basically use. These are just rocks, obviously, just splitting these stipes open a little bit. But they really are grippy, very grippy tires. And yeah, Nigel, I think you're dead right. The problem with studded tires is it just rips up the roads. It's metal studs onto bitumen. It's probably okay on the ice, but when you got in between ice and just snow, it's not that great.
A couple of the main roads have been graded and cleared, so they're bitumen. But you go off that, and you've got 2 foot deep ice on the roads. It's just astounding. And trying to walk on it's fun, but I've got spikes on my boots now, so I don't go slippy slidey. Well, not too much anyway.
I don't have it here handy. I think it's in the car, but I've actually went to Audi, which is called Hofer in Austria, and they've actually got like applicators where you basically have like studded metal studs on like a stretchy rubber sort of thing that you put under your shoes. So you sort of clip it onto the front, you sort of stretch onto the front and then onto the heel, and it's got metal studs so you can walk around a bit safer.
Yeah, you can get those here as well. I got some that were a lot cheaper than those, and it's just like a Velcro thing with a square pad with spikes that I just strapped to the heel of my shoe.
Yep. And of course,
they're called lawn aerators, aren't they?
They don't aerate that much. They're not that deep.
And the funny thing is, you see on the footpaths, they actually deliberately spread sort of like, I guess it's 5mm blue metal gravel. Well, not gravel, but sort of chippy,
very fine gravel.
Yeah, sort of like gravel to help grip, and you really do need it. You really do.
Yeah, well, around here I can see the gravel through about 2 inches of ice. It's underneath. It's absolutely useless at the moment. They had a storm. They had a bit of a storm go through and had a few feet of snowfall the day before we got here. So it had basically travelled up a day in front of us the whole way up north. So we're only 2,100 kilometres from the North Pole.
So are you in the Arctic Circle per se? Exactly, like north of the Arctic?
Yeah, we're in 71 degrees north, so many minutes, and the Arctic Circle starts at 63 degrees, 33 minutes north.
So you only have
we won't be
twilight.
back out of the Arctic Circle. Yeah, we got. Well, there was about 2 hours of twilightish type of stuff today.
It's just weird, isn't it? It is just weird. And yet, of course, come back in 6 months' time and it'll be bright all day.
There'll be no dark. Yeah, it's 24 hours of sun, which we got when we got to northern part of Alaska. It was 24 hours of sun, never set.
It's a weird world. It's a weird world. Cool. Very good.
Yeah.
Thanks, Nigel.
It's fun having all this snow and everything. And all the EVs, I'm just astounded by them.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
Actually, Harold, I've got a question for you. Did you go and sit in that Model S Plaid?
Yeah, nah. So, as I explained, I think you must have gotten on a little bit after we started. I went on what became a wild goose chase to get to the Plaid S. I did see a couple of Plaid S's and a couple, and what I presume was a Plaid X, but they don't currently have show cars in the showroom. And it's funny because Vienna's Tesla store, the outlet, used to be in the center of the city. Now it's sort of out in an industrial complex, so light industrial area or commercial area, and it's actually now a tiny showroom, and all I've got is a single Model 3. So I believe the Plaid S and X won't be up for viewing until early next year. So I dare say you've probably got an infinitely better chance of getting into one or near one than I do, Nigel. So the short answer is no. I didn't.
Until I get back to Bergen, I'm there for 3 days, and then Amsterdam for 4 days before coming home. So now I know you haven't managed it. I'm going to see if I can.
Yes, you try hard. Yes, thanks for that. You try harder, because at least one of us baldies ought to succeed. Otherwise, it might be Damo that might be the first to be in a Plaid S. Hey, Damo.
Oh, I hope so. Something tells me it won't be, but
Oh well, I'd be rooting for Nigel at this stage, but we'll see what happens.
on you, Nige.
Yeah, good one, Nigel.
I'll give it a go.
Excellent. Alrighty. So has anyone else got any questions or comments? Anything that's happened in the last week or might be happening in the next few weeks? We'll reserve the segment, which I'm going to call Tesla's steaming pile of share price, until Carmen hopefully comes on a little bit later in the show. But
The share price is excellent. It's on sale.
yes, and I think James Stevenson actually had a great.
100.
Well, James Stevenson had a great tweet image that showed, when clothes go on sale, everyone's happy. When petrol's on sale, everyone's happy. When food's on sale, everyone's happy. When shares are on sale, everyone's sad.
No.
So,
Definitely not.
but anyway, it's funny. I forget who the gentleman was a couple of weeks ago that asked, so, what do we think the bottom of the share price is? And I thought 150, I thought last week 150 is getting pretty close, but wow, that's just like a 30% discount on that price. Because what was it? 109, I think.
109.
Oy. Anyway.
I don't have enough money.
No.
To get some more.
No. Anyway. Yes, it's
Just
buy
quick
at
one,
your
guy.
own. Buy. Oh, Pete's
What?
sharing.
Keep going.
There we go. Clothes, groceries. electronics, video games, stocks. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks, Pete. Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I've been watching a bit of James Stevenson to, be helped through these times with all his I don't know how many bloody 21 parts of
He's
Tesla's
on 21
forecast.
now. Yeah.
He's done 22, hasn't he? Or even more now, 24.
Oh, I
Oh,
don't know.
21. That's what I saw as 21.
I don't know.
I think
I've
it's
seen
22.
many of them. Yeah, they're very good, very calming. And then Stephen Mark Ryan to hype me up.
I think I've said it the last couple of times. The only thing that disappoints me a little bit with some of James Stevenson's future projections, which look absolutely fantastic. So that's when he projects towards 2025, is he does it on the basis of an assumption that the average revenue gained through FSD, the software sale of FSD, is $25,000 US. I think it's $25,000 US per car on average.
Wow.
And in my personal opinion, and that's very personal, that to me sounds optimistic. So I'd really love it if he would do a projection that just deleted that altogether, just do it at its current take-up rate and show us what the share price, what earnings would be then.
Mm.
And then we can, work out the price to earnings ratio and all that sort of stuff. Because otherwise, if you look at his sometimes on his Excel spreadsheet, he sort of peaks past 2023 or 2024, and you see a 2025 figure, and you think, oh man, that's just stupendous. I'd rather just see awesome figures rather than stupendous ones. But hey, that's just a personal opinion.
Yeah, agree.
Cool.
On a recent Twitter Spaces, Elon mentioned that he'd like to reaffirm that he still believes that Tesla will be the most valuable company in the world, and he added a bit more. He added a time frame to it. He said within 5 years.
Mm.
So we're talking 2027 or 8.
Oh yeah,
5 years.
Let's say.
Yeah.
Which
the interesting one he said a while back was the one where he said it was going to be Tesla was going to be the more valuable than the top two current, which put it around about 4.3.
Saudi Aramco and Apple.
Yeah.
Yep.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that would be pretty much a tenfold increase from here.
Yeah.
I think it's worth about 340 billion, the market cap as of yesterday, something like that.
Yes.
So 340 billion versus 3 trillion is pretty much a tenfold increase.
Which is basically a lazy $1,000 per share, US, roughly.
That'd be nice.
Maybe time to press that button, Harold.
Yes. Sorry, yes.
Yeah.
That would be.
If you listen to YouTubers, then you're a fucking idiot.
Hang on. Would that be this button? Would that be this button here?
It's on.
Off your press there.
Oh, it is. You're right.
I'm in.
Oh, it's not that one. Is it? Was it this one?
Kiwi.
No, it's not that one. Is it?
No.
Hey, Jared.
I prefer the yellow one. Oh yes. That button.
Actually, no. It was obviously this one.
The previous comments were general in nature and shouldn't be taken as personal professional advice. Listeners should seek their own independent assessment from a qualified advisor and not rely on the general nature of information in this program.
But as Elon would say,
There's going to be
a much better share price in the future.
Well, at least he stopped selling now. So
Is that a better price to buy or a better price to sell? Will it go below 100?
Okay.
That's a good point, Nigel.
Well, here's a little straw poll. Who believes it's going to go below 100?
yeah, definitely, because the market's stupid.
Wow, what a bargain,
I
isn't it?
hope so, because I'm waiting for money to clear in the UK, in the US.
Wouldn't it be a lovely share price to buy it at $99 something?
Oh, that would be brilliant.
Yeah.
Oh dear. But then the week after it might be $89 and then it could be 79. Who knows?
I think when I got it at 188, I was like, woohoo!
I thought it was
Now,
good at 180, and now it's gone down. I can afford a little bit more, but not a lot.
you don't lose. Just don't sell. You don't lose.
Yeah.
You'll be all right.
Just a
Just
quick
wait.
one.
To give you an idea,
I don't know whether any of you've seen it. There was a Kickstarter for a sunroof for the Model 3s that actually pulls across.
you,
And a
you
frame
mean
goes
like
in your roof.
this one? You mean like this one, Mark?
Have you already fitted yours?
Is that at
Yeah,
the
no, I've
moment?
had that for a little while.
When did you
There
get
it
that
goes.
one?
This one I got from Teptes. They scammed me a
again,
little bit
Pete.
with the postage. But what's that?
Show us again.
Hang on, I'll spotlight him. Hang on a sec. Go, Pete.
So it's got two magnets in the middle, so it joins in the middle because the Model Y.
I've got the Model
doesn't
3
have
version
race.
of that. You're in a Model Y, aren't you?
I am, yes. Yep.
I've got the Model 3 version of that. Is it good?
Oh, it's brilliant. I do actually really like it.
Racing,
yeah,
I've got the Model 3
fine,
version. I haven't fitted mine yet.
Just a little bit.
Where did you get yours from, Mark?
Sorry, we didn't
Sorry?
hear that. So we had a clash there. So sorry, Jared.
That was
Just
me. I was saying, I said,
Oh,
I said
sorry,
to Peter
Richard.
Chat, I saw a powered one of those from Model Y a couple of days ago. It's one piece.
Oh, wow.
Just press a button and it powers all the way to the front and all the way.
Oh,
to the back.
nice.
But,
How much?
I
Oh,
sent
is
the message, but I haven't got.
Is it all
heard
one
back.
piece, Richard?
Yeah, one piece. Yep.
Whoa, that's a big piece.
I actually like the fact that I can have it, above my head in the front, and then the kids in the back can have theirs off, and so the front and the rear seats can do their own thing
Yeah.
independently. I quite like that. But yeah, if it's powered, that's pretty cool.
It's pretty cool. No, I've just got the Model 3. Mine's been delivered today, so I haven't actually fitted mine yet. So
I'd be
once
interested
I
to
fit it,
see
I'll tell you
yours.
whether there's any squeaks and stuff.
Yeah,
Just,
mine gets stuck a little bit.
Well, the Model 3 one is just a one piece, just above the head. The one I've got is just above the head of the driver passenger. So we'll see how that one goes. That one shouldn't have that issue, touch wood.
Is it a retractable one as well?
It looks like it's exactly the same make as you've got, except it's for the Model 3, and it's only for the driver. I haven't got the one for the rear because I didn't need it for the rear because I've got that fully tinted anyway.
Fair enough. Yep. And where did you get yours from, Mark?
Wait, I got it from online on a Kickstarter.
Oh, right. Okay. Excellent.
So where do you get yours from?
Teptes, Taptes, from the US.
No.
But it was quite expensive, and they did scam me a little bit on the postage. I had to wait 3.5 months for it because they sent it by boat. So,
Right. Well, this one I think was about, from memory, is about $250, I think.
Okay, yeah, this one was quite a lot. I think landed in Perth. I think I ended up paying about $700 for it.
That's not
$700
bad.
or $800. It was quite a lot.
That's why he's got no money for razors and shaving cream.
That's a hell of a lot of Tesla shares at the moment.
I tell you what, I've got no money left for Tesla shares because I spent all my money on it. But what just to give you an idea as to the level that I've stooped to now is for Christmas presents and birthday presents, I'm using Christmas and birthday present money, and I'm getting. I got my brother for his birthday. I got him a Tesla share, I got my brother-in-law a Tesla share for his Christmas
Ah,
present.
nice.
I'm just trying to
Are you
buy the
keeping
things
them for
anyone like that.
safekeeping?
No, I transfer them to them. Yeah, but I tell them that it's on one condition: they're not allowed to sell them for the next 3 to 6 years. So ideally, keep them for at least 4 or 5, but 3 to 6 years.
But Pete, they could have shorted those shares, those presents, and bought them back, you know, a New Year's Day or something for half price, perhaps.
No doubt. No doubt.
You
Dear
even drive
me.
the street more, Pete. I never see you in that. You're always in this Y now.
Yeah, I prefer. Well, we down south, but you know, we've had 4 people in the car and fully packed. So yeah, the Model Y is just so much. And the other 2 are actually rented out at the moment, so had no choice but to take the
What's
Model Y. But
your
yeah, no, the Model Y is just. Sorry?
You're renting your performance out.
I am, yeah. Yeah, I've rented it out. So I was a little bit hesitant about it. This is the first time the performance has been rented out. So yeah, hopefully goes all right.
But
Yeah.
I saw the other day at Kwinana
Seemed like a
Drags.
nice bloke, that.
Well, at the Kwinana Drags, I thought last Wednesday there was some car that it was looked like a black Tesla that got the speed wobbles and careened into the wall there, Pete.
Howard, that was the one on the police chase. That went
Ah.
through about last night. You're confused.
Off the Joondalup way. Yeah, I saw it.
Yeah, it went through the Joondalup way, and they I think they set fire to it, or they just burnt the interior or something. I'm not sure. So,
Very
Yeah,
good.
you guys aren't helping. You're not helping.
settle those
Dear,
nerves.
dearie me. Well, something else that is almost on fire is hopefully the progress of the WA EV network, which if you look on PlugShare, you actually have got Cowbarry, Northampton, and Geraldton as coming soon pins. So there's no photos yet. I'm hoping that anyone watching this show will if you are up in Geraldton or Cowbarry or Northampton, please have a look. But this is basically some of the preliminary information where you can see, you know, you've got 4 bays, you've got 2 lots of 150 kilowatt chem power chargers. So this is one of the sites where you actually have 2 lots, so you can actually charge 4 cars on 75 kilowatts simultaneously, which is a very good setup. If we then go up to Cowbarry, this from memory is a 75 kilowatt chem power charger, which makes perfect sense because Cowbarry is really more or less a destination rather than a transiting location. So you can see here there's 1 by 75 kilowatt chem power. Of course, that still has 2 nozzles, so you can charge at half, roughly, approximately, 37.5 kilowatts simultaneously. Plus you've got the AC backup charger. And then you've also got Northampton, which has, I think this is a 150. Yep, it's a single 150 with 2 nozzles and an AC backup. So the what's called the WA EV network is underway. And I think we mentioned that a couple of weeks ago. Construction had already started, and we obviously also know that the car park at the old Albany jail is completed and is clearly now just waiting for the site works for the transformer and chargers, including Tesla superchargers that we know are going to go in the same location. So this time next year, you know, we're going to be able to drive through most of Western Australia the way people do in the eastern states or in Europe for that matter.
Is there an ETA of the actual completion date of this new EV highway?
Yes,
No, that's not quite.
the declared completion date is it was January. I think it says January 2024. but let's
Righto.
call it, for all intents and purposes, the end of next year.
Yep.
The only exception to those are the Nullarbor charges at Baladonia, Kaiguna, Majura Pass, and Eucla. They, according to a ministerial spokesperson, will be completed by the end of 2024. So let's call that 2 years' time, and let's call the other everything else in a year's time, approximately.
Righto.
You know,
That's not quite true what you said about driving over East Harold.
sorry, Jared.
It's not quite true what you said about we're going to be driving like over East. Our roads are much better over here than over there.
Yes, true. And that's because none of the EVs over here can actually drive to wear out the roads, whereas all the EVs over east are wearing out the roads. But yeah, you are right, Jared. You know, George, who had, I don't know if George is with us yet. Oh yes, he is on. I mean, he's got a horrendous story of how many rims he dinged on his trip to, I think it was Melbourne actually, yeah, or I think he got all the way to only Melbourne and basically wrote off all 4 of his rims. And being performance, they're 20s, aren't they, Pete? The Model S performance rims, 21s, 20s, something like that.
They're 21s, yeah.
And every single one of them was written off.
Model S or Model 3? You talk about
Model
George's
3.
car, Harold?
Yeah, George's car.
George
Oh,
bought
Model
my,
3's 20s.
20s,
bought
yeah.
my spare
20s.
wheel off me. George bought my modern spare wheel off me.
Yep.
Because I'm getting the Y, and thank God he did.
Yeah. It's just horrendous. And of course, the problem with autopilot, well, one of the great features is it keeps you fully centered on the road. One of the bad features is it keeps you fully centered on the road, which is exactly where all the potholes are.
I don't think he was on autopilot when it happened. It's just, from what George was saying, it just absolutely potholes everywhere, unavoidable.
Yep.
I was over skiing this year, and it's bloody atrocious. You couldn't drive your car on autopilot. It would be crazy.
Yeah, absolutely.
The
Absolutely.
UK's like that. UK, the roads are absolutely horrible.
Yeah, that's why all the English move over here. Because the roads are better.
If there's anyone new, I see a couple of new people. If you please feel free to say hello and tell us about your car. As you can tell, we're super casual. So anyone who is new and you'd like to do so, just say hello. Or not. That's totally cool too. You can certainly also participate. Just ask a question, just pipe up, just interrupt. Oh, Gwen, welcome.
Hi, I just wanted to say hello. I've been talking to you for a few weeks now. I thought it was time actually. I was expecting a tree in January, hopefully.
Oh, Gwen, sorry. Your audio is really bad. Maybe if you get sit a bit closer to your computer or laptop, it might be a bit better. Sorry, it's
Okay. I thought I'd say hello. Is that coming through? Okay.
a little bit closer. If you can try a bit closer. Sorry.
I'll move it to the I'll move to it because I've got a desk in front of me. I'm trying to. Oops. Sorry about this. Right. Okay. How's that? Is that it?
We'll try. We'll see what we can get. It's unfortunately it's really echoey and it's just a bit weird. There might be some echo cancellation going on, but yeah, let's try and press through and see if it works.
Okay. Sorry about that. Yeah, I'm just saying hello. I've been following you all for a few weeks now. I've got a 3 coming in January, hopefully. Fingers crossed.
Oh, awesome. Fantastic. So if you got the 3 coming in January, that means it's probably already arrived at the port. To be honest, I haven't really been keeping track. Pete or James, is there any public information that we know about? I think we probably know that the Model 3s have arrived already. Pete Petrosky? No? Oh.
Sorry, I don't have anything I can contribute to that.
Okay, that's
Harold.
cool. That's cool. But in any case, Gwen, yeah, it's going to be fantastic. I don't have my normal computer set up, but I would normally flash an image of it's I forget what the camera's called now. Anyway, it's a camera that can take 1 million frames per second, because that's what you would need if you set that camera up at the Phantom. That's it. The Phantom camera takes 1 million frames a second. If you set that up at the delivery center, and started filming at the start of your delivery process to when you were fully delivered and were being escorted out the front, you might be lucky to get about 10 frames in. And if you shot a bullet in the direction of the exit of the Tesla delivery center, you would beat the bullet out the center. But all jokes aside, I mean, look, it's a very efficient process. And if you don't have any pressing questions or queries at that time, then you're more than welcome just to grab your car and go. It's a very rapid process. The only pro tip is, which speeds up things a little bit, is make sure that you're logged into your Tesla account on a web browser on your phone. So it's the only clunky thing that the phone app doesn't yet do. And the reason why you want to be logged into your Tesla account on your phone is so that you can accept delivery, because basically a link comes up on the web page and then you accept delivery of the car. But it's cool if you forget that. You just do it while you're there. It only takes a minute to load up your account on your phone.
Okay, great, thank you.
And then obviously ask all the questions you want. They actually do have time to answer questions. But the other goal too is try and ask as many questions on this forum, excuse me, as you can, so that then it doesn't become an overwhelming sort of mind dump of all of the information that you need for the whole car ownership experience. You can just sort of slowly drip feed bits of information that's relevant, at each time. What's the other thing? Oh yes, the other thing too is don't feel too pressed to have to pick out every paint fault, or, well, not that there should be any, but to have a really, really, really close inspection as if that was the last opportunity to do so. Tesla are very progressive as far as, you can come back in a reasonable time, depending on use, the next week or so, with a concern about a paint fault or something else. So you don't have to feel overwhelmed with having to, prove everything is okay or not okay at that actual moment when you're getting delivery. You can just go home in the comfort of home, perhaps the next day, give your car a thorough looking over, and then you can just book a service request in your app. And again, I don't think you can actually see much on your Tesla app at the moment, but once you do get your car, there's a button called Service, and you just press it. It's like a menu-driven system where you've got different categories: interior, exterior, driving, etc. And then you can just register a concern, say perhaps with a paint run or whatever. But to be honest, the quality of the cars these days is pretty much excellent. Really, it really is excellent.
Excellent. Yeah, I'm quite excited, I must just say. Can't wait.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, it's sort of exciting and frustrating to have the wait, but once you've got your car, all of that sort of waiting and frustration or anticipation just melts away, and you can just go and enjoy that awesome car. And the only regret that any of us have ever had about buying a Tesla is simply not doing it sooner, regardless of when we got our cars.
Great, thank you. That's lovely.
Cool.
One thing you might want to do, Gwen, is just when you pick your car up, if you want to pick it up pretty quick, is just wander around it with your phone camera and just photograph the whole car. And then if there's any other things or anything that was done that you didn't notice, you've got a pretty good picture of it, and then you can actually show them. That was on that picture.
Right, great tip. Thank you for that. I'll do that. Yeah, I'm a little concerned about the techie side of stuff because I'm a bit phobic on that score, but I'm going to take it slow.
The
Sorry,
technical
I think
side.
technicals. I think you're saying about, you mean driving the car, like the actual touch screen and things like that.
Yeah, just a general knowledge about it all. I listen to you guys, and it sounds a bit double Dutch sometimes. But I'm just going to take it slow, and I'll ask questions if I have any problems.
The car is very intuitive.
Right, good.
Yeah, it absolutely is. And for example, this is the touch screen. This is the sort of normal touch screen that you see, and you'll notice it's made up of various parts. You've got a map, and you've got the car. This is the car when it's in park, and for example, if you press open for the frunk, it will basically open the frunk. That's the bonnet. Or if you press the boot or the trunk, that'll open that. If you press on the charging symbol, that'll then bring up the charging menu, which you can do to change, or you can observe what's happening with charging. If you you've got your air conditioner settings. So you've got on the temperature. If you click on that, then you can see the control panel. It's a little bit like a smartphone, really, or an iPad. You can then see a control panel for your air conditioning. And this simulator or emulator doesn't do everything yet, but you can actually move the airstream just by dragging with a finger, a little bit like when you you drag a mouse on a computer, and you can change the direction. You can either this is showing as being split, but you can have them together. You can have them up or down. You can have your seat, your steering wheel heater on, and other things. If you go to the actual menu of the car, you've got a whole multitude of menus. The first one is generally what is pertinent to the state of the car at the moment. So this car is parked. So the headlights are on automatic, which means you don't have to turn them on or off. It just happens automatically. You've got child locks, you've got window locks, you've got your windscreen wipers, mirrors, and a few other things. For pedals and steering, you can change the strength of the steering wheel, so how much effort you need to turn it. But you can just leave most of these things on standard. Look, the stopping mode, I guess that's one that's sort of most interesting. The car will probably come with it defaulted to hold. And what hold means is, as you're driving along with your foot on the accelerator, if you let go of the accelerator, like just take your foot off, the car will fairly gradually or moderately come to a complete stop, and it will just stop there forever. And then if you put your foot on the accelerator down slightly, it'll go forward. And if you remove it again, the car will come to a stop and just hold, just stay still. If on the other hand, and actually initially it feels a little bit weird, but it's the best mode for driving a car, hands down, absolute best mode. But alternatively, you can have it as set to roll. And what roll does is, it's a little bit like, it's like when you're riding a push bike. When you're riding a push bike and you're pedaling, as long as you're pedaling, you're driving forwards. When you stop pedaling, the bike just rolls forward indefinitely, sort of, or it just rolls in neutral. And then you would have to use your brake to slow down. That's actually, does that use regen peoples? I don't think it does if it's in that mode, or maybe it does.
No, it doesn't.
No regen.
No, it
Okay,
doesn't.
cool. Okay. So and then the last option is creep. Now creep is really behaving pretty much like an automatic transmission car that is perhaps permanently in second, perhaps. So when you're driving along, you take your foot off the accelerator, the car will then slow down, a bit like an ICE car would do in say second gear in an automatic. But when you come to a sort of stop, or if you put your foot on the brake and come to a gentle stop, if you take your foot off the brake, it'll creep forward just like an automatic transmission car does. So that's the stopping mode. But like I said, the best one to use is actually hold. It's sort of the best of all the worlds. And then, you know, there's a whole lot of other settings which we won't bombard you with right now, because it all becomes a little bit overwhelming. It's a lot of information. But
Thank you.
Yeah, there are videos in your account that you can watch. Those are quite good, and then you can watch them again and again.
Yeah.
Or you know, these forums are good. Or you bail someone up at the supercharger or something like that as well. So.
The top and bottom of it is that on that drive is very intuitive. Yeah. It does become intuitive. Once
you'll be fine.
Yeah.
And it's like a smartphone.
I've put a couple of...
So hang on 2 seconds, Pete. So it's a little bit like a smartphone. You know, I mean, Apple does it all the time, and I'm sure Google with Android does it as well. You know, there's a new software version or whatever, a new phone release, and you're sort of used to doing the standard, very basic things on your phone, which is perfectly fine. But if you're interested, you can drill into all the complexities and, you know, tune your phone and use it in advanced ways. So the car is exactly the same. Initially, it is just a car. You know, when you put it into drive, which is just pulling down the right-hand lever, like many other cars, the car's in drive. And if you put your foot on the right pedal, it'll go faster. And if you put your foot on the left pedal, it'll go slower. So it's sort of, at a basic level, it is just a car. But later on, when you've got experience, you know, you can learn other things about it, which can be quite interesting. And sorry, Pete, you were going to say?
Oh, no, I was just going to say I've put a couple of links in the chat for you, Gwen. One is to a Tokwa article. It's titled "What to Expect When You're Expecting Your Tesla," which is a little bit old but still current. And then there's a video showing you different ways that you can set up your screen when you first get your car. It's a 2-part video. Might be worthwhile going through that one as well. May help.
Right, thank you, Peter. Thanks a lot. I'll do that.
No worries, Peter.
Cool. Thanks, Pete. All right. So anyone else got any other questions at 9:20 your time?
Oh, I was at a supercharger, and
which one? They've only got 4 to choose from.
Sorry, I should have just said when I was at my local supercharger, filling up for the 41st time. You can check all that on the phone now.
Yes, you can.
I had a couple they just picked up their car, so they knew nothing of it, and they were asking where's the AM radio, and I'm like, I don't listen to AM radio, so I said I'm not really sure. So I said jump on the Wednesday, join the club, and all that sort of stuff. So, but does anyone listen to AM, and how do you do that?
You can through you can through tune in. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, so is it tune in?
No, the DAB.
Yeah.
Oh,
So there's two ways to do it, either through tune in, or there's a digital version of, like, you know, ABC News Radio or ABC Perth or whatever.
Yeah. Thank you.
So Pete, what you mean to say is, are you going, Nigel?
Bye, Nigel.
Yeah, I've got to go. The internet's very terrible at the moment because we're out in the sea, and so
yeah, no worries.
I'm going. I've got things to do anyway.
Thanks,
All right,
Nigel.
See you
look,
all next week.
or it might be the week after. It might be the week after, Nigel, but we'll see how we go.
See you, Nigel.
Okay.
Cheers. All right, take care. Bye. So sorry, Pete. I
Yeah.
think what you meant to say was the two ways are there is actually a digital audio DAB version of AM because it's no longer literally analog AM anymore. Is that right? Is that what it is now? It is only the digital audio version. So digital
The
radio,
DAB version doesn't work down
Yep.
south. I was just there last week. It doesn't work.
right?
It doesn't work.
And
Okay.
and then the other alternative is to ditch conventional broadcast radio per se, which is broadcast from a transmitter to your car, and you can just use TuneIn, and all of the AM and FM stations, for that matter, throughout the world, pretty much, are on TuneIn. And for that, you can just look at stations. I think it actually recommends it already automatically if you go to TuneIn, the app or the little icon in the touchscreen. It'll search for your local stations, but you can still drill further and just select Australia, select Western Australia, and even select the region, whether it's Perth or Southwest or wherever. And then you can add them as favorites. So then you have several icons on that page, which are your favorite stations. And as long as the car has internet coverage, you will be able to stream those stations quite reliably. The only thing is, I think you need to have premium connectivity
I would
to
say
be able to
so.
continue to do that
You do.
after your
Yeah,
1 month trial, or
Yeah.
I think you can tether your car off your phone. In other words, share your phone's internet with the car, so you can still stream things. Or of course, you can just
Oh, that-
stream it through your phone via
No worries.
Bluetooth.
I'll if I ever see them again, I'll let them know. I just Spotify everything, so
Yeah, cool.
You can also, with the latest update, you can Apple Music it as well.
yes, yeah. I think that's effectively sold a car. I've had a friend that's like, I'm not buying one because it doesn't have Apple. And then I said, oh, the Apple thing's in there now. And I'd already taken him and his partner out for a spin in the Y. And he's a big guy. So he was, like 6'5" or something like that. So he was pretty impressed. So I think he'll be getting a Y, but probably a long range whenever the hell that comes.
You wouldn't buy a 3 because you bash your head getting in. I'm only 5.
Yeah, it's
I-
quite comical
I
when
bash
I've
my head getting in all the time.
driven them, but they won't get in my 3 because I drive it a bit spiritually. So
Why is that not surprising?
I only have a 100 range, so it's not quite as spirited.
what's the point of having a performance if you don't drive it like it?
Bit like buying
But not-
Diet Coke, which there is a point to, but buying uncaffeinated, decaffeinated Diet Coke, it's like, what are you trying to do?
You might as well just drink water. Though.
Why bother with Coke?
Yes, why
Except
stain
for
your
the-
teeth for no pleasure at all?
So,
Remember, double demerit points until the 8th.
yeah.
Oh,
So
really? Right.
Everyone drives sensibly for the next couple of weeks.
And
Good
the car's
point.
back on.
You should always
Yeah.
drive.
That's right.
That's right.
Yes.
Yeah, so this is a community service announcement. What Paul just alluded to before is
Allegedly.
not something that we recommend that anyone allegedly do or actually do. We should all drive responsibly, kids.
Yeah,
exactly.
I ride motorbikes, so I always drive responsibly. And drive
Yes.
responsibly.
You are, with no aspersions to your general age, you are quite an elderly motorbike rider, Mark. You must be a very safe one.
No, I am quite an elderly car driver. I didn't buy my first car till I was 35 years old.
Oh, wow.
I don't even know where to go with that. I'm just going to keep my mouth very shut and my lips absolutely sealed.
And my last ride in the UK before I came to Australia was 1 week, 2 days of ice, 2 days of snow, and the other few days weren't ice or snow on a motorbike.
Yes. Having
I
seen a
was
few,
bricking myself because I'd got an airplane to catch, and I got 2 weeks of my visa left. And if I couldn't get on that plane, my visa was gone. I was
So-
nervous.
Suffice to say, you rode very carefully.
Very,
And made
very
it.
careful.
Very good. Very good.
Believe me, buying a Tesla is the most fun I've ever had in a car, bar a motorbike. They really are great vehicles.
Harold, I've got a question from an anonymous user. Can you please ask
Yes,
everybody?
yes, Damo.
Can you please ask how they tune the radio in at the drive-ins?
The answer is you don't,
No.
because there is no FM. Oh, I stand to be corrected. Is there an FM receiver in the
There
Model
is an FM
3s and Ys?
There is an FM receiver, yeah.
Oh, in which case you can. So, Damo, you just say if you go to the
Yes,
Galaxy
good.
drive-ins.
How to get to that?
You just direct tune it.
Direct tune. they
Yep.
call it.
So
Yeah,
you
so
put in
you just, like,
98
do it
point whatever,
auto-
91 point something, whatever or 88, whatever the frequency is, and they'll tell you, because I always have it on their little slip of paper. You just direct tune. So you go to radio, FM, and then you go direct tune, and you just enter in the three numbers. It's usually three numbers. I don't think there's a decimal point, but you just, for instance, if it was 88.7, you just go 887, and then that will go to 88.7 megahertz or whatever the
Right.
whatever the frequency is. Or if you want to listen to 96 FM, it's just 961.
Roger. Thanks, Harold.
Of course, if you have an old
Yeah,
model,
if you actually go,
go Pete.
no, you go, Harold.
All right. So if you have an old Model S or X, some of them don't have FM tuners. In fact, they don't even have AM tuners. So if you went to the drive-ins like I used to in what is now Richard Chapman's car, I'd have to bring a separate radio, literally. But anyway, yeah, go Pete.
It's 89.5 FM is the frequency. So you just go to direct tune and type in 895.
Roger.
Cool.
Yeah, if
So
you
you
type
go.
in 895, it automatically puts the dot in for you.
So direct tune.
Yep.
Yeah. So you just go into radio, and which is in the in the bottom menu, the menu where all the multimedia is, your theta, your arcade, toy box, karaoke, Bluetooth, etc. And you just press radio in there, and then there's next to radio there's three menus. There's favorites if you have any in there, stations, and direct tune, and you just put in 895 in direct tune. That's the Galaxy drive-ins frequency.
The radio icon is just on the screen there. I'm just hovering over there, the radio icon here.
That's the one, yeah.
Right.
That's cool. Copy that. Thank you very much.
Cool. But seriously, Damo, if your friend is going to the drive-ins, I thought the adage goes, Saturday night at the drive-ins, who cares what picture you see? So
I remember those days.
yeah,
Is your memory that good?
What
and
movie?
just think, Paul, how much better it would have been if you owned a Tesla at the time.
Oh yeah.
Oh, bloody oath.
Anyway, on that mischievous note, has anyone else got any other questions or anecdotes, bits of news, whatever? Does anyone want to ask us anything? Oh no one. Whoa, we're running out of content. I must admit, I've been a little bit busy this week doing some renos and seeing some clients and things. Where I didn't have much else prepared. I mean, there were some other news items that were a little bit. There are reports. There are consistent reports about Tesla shutting down Shanghai's factory for a few days or a week or two. There's there's talk of effectively a full Chinese New Year holiday period, perhaps. But of course, that's not necessarily because Tesla's running out of demand or anything like that. It can also be that they're going to slot in some factory upgrades or some maintenance. I think famously this year, Chinese New Year, that was just before the COVID thing hit. So I can't remember if they're actually busy during that period or not, but Tesla often will pay workers penalty rates to actually work during Chinese New Year, and it might just be that they want to revert to the mean and give some of those workers an opportunity to have a break. So
Yeah.
but I didn't put them in the news because you really got to have a smoking gun, and unfortunately Tesla China has effectively refuted a lot of the reports, but they may have refuted them on technicalities. So some of the reports, might be entirely true, and Tesla's just being a little bit cute with some technical rebuttals. But until it actually happens, it's really pointless trying to report on it, because otherwise it just becomes a bit of a rumor mill.
No, I don't.
I think the Tom Zhu thing is really interesting, because look, it is plausible that perhaps Tom Zhu may eventually effectively take over Elon Musk's role as CEO, because that makes a lot of sense. And look, even years ago, Elon Musk has actually quite openly said that his greatest role at Tesla is basically being chief product and innovation officer.
Engineer.
And that's the sort of stuff he really enjoys. Whereas being a CEO is certainly one of the less, sucks. And it's it's just the same as.
He says he does it because he has to, not because he wants to.
Exactly. And it looks like Tom Zhu is a bit of a star in Tesla's ecosystem, because he's obviously
certainly can get a factory working.
Precisely, and he's already in the States, working on some improvements to the Fremont factory, and also working on the commencement of the further building out of Giga Austin in Texas. So I thought that was really interesting, and you don't cease to become the chief legal representative, which is technically, it's like it's the person that someone sues if they sue Tesla, sort of thing. It's that legal sort of aspect. It makes absolute sense to clear those decks before you are announced perhaps CEO of global Tesla.
It might end up like chief operating officer or something like that.
I think that's
where.
Is that Drew Baglino, COO?
No. No, they don't have one. No, he's like VP of, I think, battery or something. They keep moving.
Was that
people.
Kirkhorn? Oh, is that Kirkhorn?
No, he's chief financial officer.
Yes, CFO. Yeah, right.
He's the master of coin.
Yes. Sorry. Yes, I know. And Elon's chief. What is it? No, Techno King or some crap. So yeah.
No, you were thinking chief tweet.
No, he's chief tweet now, but that'll end soon. Thank God.
Well, we don't know that. All we know is there was a poll, and then we do know that he said before when he opened the poll, he said he would abide by the answer. But then when someone later said, "Oh, you know what? You should only have polls open to verified users," he then said that's a very good point. And all he promised was that he would stand down as CEO, but it didn't say when. And he could mount an argument that says, well, we haven't yet found one that's suitable or better than me, so I'll just be the interim CEO for the time being.
There's been a few. I mean, it was quite interesting. I was watching the All In podcast, and David Sachs was actually there at the Twitter headquarters, and then Elon jumped in. And it was quite funny because David Sachs says, no, I'm not going to do it. And then he's there. So you're just sort of going, maybe, who knows? either way, I hope someone does, and then the media can shut the hell up about it because it's just getting boring now. You know, it's not going to change anything. I mean, hell, look at what they've done in the short space of time, like 6 weeks. All the changes that they've done, and the whole thing hasn't collapsed or anything. It's actually probably got better. So
Yes.
With a third of the staff as well.
yeah. Well, Elon was saying they've got 2,000 on staff and 5,000 contractors still. So they've still got like 7,000 staff. The media still hasn't picked that stuff up. So I did see a report about different track Tesla China selling like 10,000 cars. By the end of the year, they were saying that they'll be delivered, and you were just going, "That's crazy! They only just opened." For sale in Thailand.
Taiwan, yeah.
Oh, Taiwan. Sorry, Taiwan.
Oh, was it
You
Taiwan?
said,
Oh, I
you said
thought it
China.
was
Taiwan.
No,
Sorry. I thought Thailand. Wasn't it Thailand?
No, Taiwan.
no, Taiwan.
That was Taiwan, was it? Oh, okay. Oh, well, they're not from Shanghai then. Oh, okay. Because I
No.
was thinking Thailand, and then I was
No.
thinking that makes sense. With their lower numbers, maybe they put them on a ship
Yeah,
straight to.
I don't think those were deliveries in Thailand, not Taiwan, in Thailand. I think those were just orders, 10,000 orders that they had.
I thought I saw something that they said they were going to be delivered before the end of the year.
That's Taiwan. So that's Taiwan are going to have 10,000 delivered, which is twice as many as the year before. I mean, the bigger news is we already know that Australia is going to have delivered this year vastly more than twice as many than the previous year, because it's going to be equal to the number of the entire fleet in the first 6 months. From 6 months ago, the entire fleet was 26,500, and Tesla presumably is on track to have delivered about 26,000 in the last 6 months.
And most of those Model Ys.
Yeah. They're friggin' everywhere now. They really are.
They are, and it's awesome because, again, it's a personal opinion, but in my opinion, it's...
Speaking of...
Go on, Pete.
Go, Pete.
Speaking of Model Y, Tesla has broken a 53-year-old record held by VW in Norway.
Yes.
It's a record of about 17,000 cars being delivered to Norway in 1969. So since then, no other manufacturer has delivered more cars to Norway in any 1 year, except Tesla, which so I think the record was 16,709 units delivered in 1969, and that was the VW Beetle. But now the Model Y has delivered more cars to Norway.
Wow.
But the interesting thing is, the actual shape of the Model Y is based upon the Beetle.
Really?
It's the same shape. You talk about what's the actual shape. It's the same shape. It's the same long bonnet, tailed off. It's the Porsche shape. It's the same shape. That's how you designed it around.
I'd like to see what you're drinking there, man.
Yeah, I'll have what you're having, Mark.
No, read up on it. When read up, when you designed the car, that's what he designed it around. He designed it around that Porsche, Porsche is the Beetle shape.
Yeah. But I'm looking at Leonie's Y behind mine, and it's a huge bugger car. It's huge. It's not a little bug.
I
It's not
think
a
the
little
similar.
bug, but the actual outline is the same. It starts off rounded, it goes to a roof, and then it tapers off. It's exactly the same shape. It's aerodynamics. It's all designed around the same basic shape. Ferdinand Porsche designed the perfect car. Elon Musk elaborated upon it along with his designer.
Okay.
Franz von Holzhausen.
That's the name I was looking for. I couldn't remember it. Thanks, Pete.
And then just when you thought that
I could barely remember it.
just when you thought that a Beetle-shaped car couldn't be any better, then of course Tesla has gone on to produce this. Which, Mark, I challenge you to tell me that that looks like a Beetle.
That doesn't like a Beetle.
You could put a Beetle in the back or something, but that'll be better.
May I just say, if you were to do a Beetle in origami, it would look like that.
Well, you did say a long nose and then it tapers off at the back. So, you pretty much described the Cybertruck.
Let's just look at it logically. If you were to fold it out of cardboard, you can't get curves. If you can't get curves, that's what you end up with.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more.
So you're saying the Cybertruck was based on the Beetle as well?
And let's face it,
version.
when he actually designed it, it was designed around not being able to actually get complex curves. So everything is folded. If it's folded, which is all they do, they actually put a crease in it, then they fold it along that crease. That's what you end up with.
That was awesome. I think we should talk about the Cybertruck all night so that I just can keep gobbing at it because
I love the Cyber. I actually
I've fallen in love with the shape of it now.
Hate pickup trucks, but the Cybertruck is so beautifully designed out of stainless steel. Folded stainless steel is such a beautiful material.
Yes,
it really is. It is. And when you hear him talk about how he designed it, it is fantastic because it just makes total sense. It isn't.
100%.
It isn't a funny shape. It is total sense if you're making out of stainless steel.
Yeah. Yep. And stainless steel makes total sense when you're talking about effectively an off-road or commercial vehicle,
Precisely. You're going to actually want to take it off-road. You're going to want to bash it into things. And so you don't want paint on it. So it wants to be stainless steel. If it wants to be stainless steel, then you've got to make it thick enough to actually stand the bumps. If you want to make it thick enough to stand the bumps, all you can do is fold it. You can't round it. You can only fold it. And I come from an aircraft background. That's my background back in the UK, building military aircraft. And it makes total sense. It really does. It really does. It's a brilliant design concept.
A work of art.
It is a brilliant car. It's a fantastic car.
It is. And there's only one thing wrong with it.
I looked at it and thought it was an ugly ass. And then I thought about it for about 10 seconds and went, no, that is beautiful.
Well, that's a great segue so that I can show off and so that I was at the Cybertruck reveal. And as it came onto stage, I was. I was so. That was in November 2019. And my wife was watching it as a live stream. And I distinctly remember the text, and she said, "Oh my God, is that it? That's a joke." And then she goes, "And no, you're not buying one." But I did order it 3 days later after I sobered up.
But in the 3 days, did you convince her?
No, I just figured I'd seek forgiveness rather than permission.
Yeah, I'm the same. And Leonie still doesn't know. So.
Oh, really? So
no, she doesn't know.
That's a bit different. Not convincing her and doesn't know is different.
So what's this timestamp at the moment? That's 7:30. I don't know. Is that 2.25 hours? So we'll tweet that out to Leonie and go. Just look at this timestamp.
She doesn't do Twitter and she doesn't watch YouTube, so I'm good for now.
That's all right. I'll send her a snail mail letter with a vinyl record, a 45 vinyl record of you saying it there, Paul.
No worries.
But hey, I mean, look, as far as we know, it's so many years away. Anything can happen between now and then. So
yeah, exactly.
Tesla could be.
They're not going to get it for another 2 years.
Tesla could be at $1,000 a share. By the time the Cybertruck's available, and then none of our partners will care what we buy.
You'll be a multi-millionaire by then, Paul.
Exactly. That's
well,
exactly right.
If they're at that, then I will be. So I'll be a very happy man.
Dearie me. But yes, I just can't resist having another little look. Hang on a sec. Oh, look, it's still driving. It just drives forever. It's got awesome range.
Oh, nice. It's like what, 800 Ks or something?
It is.
Yep.
And
Right.
that was the tri-motor version, which of course we know is going to be the quad motor for sure.
motor.
There's no doubt.
Nice.
Yeah.
So
Oh, I'm hanging out.
yeah.
But when you see what they've done with this, the semi, American speak there, sorry.
Yes.
That same configuration in that machine is going to be phenomenal. It really is going to be a beautiful machine, especially for anyone who wants to tow a caravan or anything like that.
Mm.
And that's the big issue a lot of people have got over here is I can't tow a caravan with an EV, which they can't get the range. But with a decent battery in that, if you can get the battery capacity up, you've got a phenomenal machine. Will make towing a trailer so much easier.
Absolutely. So even if you, and it's quite easy to halve the range if you're towing a caravan, but half of 800 Ks is still great. You know, towing a caravan.
And most people towing a caravan don't want to be going more than 400 Ks in a day because it ain't fun. But
Yes.
it might be tough with one of those.
Yes. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I can see you not even interested, Harold. You're not interested in getting one at all. No, not at all.
No, I just can't wait for Pete and I to go in opposite directions again, just because.
Maybe we'll do a convoy. Sort of
Yes,
stuff.
I can't because it's on YouTube. I can't actually put the soundtrack for that, but is it Red
yeah.
Sovine Convoy?
Convoy.
That's right. And then of course the coup de grace will be when the Tesla Semi comes to Australia, and we do a lap
Well, we
in the
can
Semi.
get over it. Have you seen that latest one from Cleaner Watt on actually getting the semi into Europe?
Yes, well, frustratingly, you can actually order or reserve the Semi in the UK, which is a right-hand drive market.
Yeah,
even
but
though
no, it's not that. It's a matter of in Europe. If you look on Cleaner, if you're on YouTube and look up Cleaner Watt, you know Cleaner Watt. He does some really good reviews. He's saying he's talking to quite a few people a couple of people in the Europe, and the problem is the length. Within Europe, you need a snub nose in order to get around a lot of the streets. And the minute you put snub nose on it, we're going to cause a real problem with the aerodynamics.
Right.
And so we might be a problem within Europe. Now, Australia is not an issue because we're used to the big Mack-type trucks and stuff, not an issue whatsoever. But it might be an issue in Europe. And I watched it because I thought, this doesn't make sense. And then I watched it and I thought, that actually does make sense.
So that's where you've got the cab over, what's the name, arrangement?
Yeah, cab over,
Yes.
exactly the cab over configuration where it's a very flat front. And the part of the reason for the flat front is once the actual drivers were explaining it to him, is that you need that very, very flat front in order to get it within a lot of the streets in Europe because of the very short distances. Because the actual cities are designed around horse and cart. They're not designed around even cars.
Yeah. Well,
So
I mean, a lot
trying
of the
to get
cities,
semi
that's
in
right.
there, you really are struggling. And plus, that's a lot of regulations actually restrict the length, which means you restrict the length of trailer length if you have a longer nose on it. So that'll be interesting to see how they get around that issue.
Well, frustratingly, like I said, you can actually reserve a Semi or get information on the Semi. It's on Tesla's website in the UK.
In the UK.
So, which, like I said, is a right-hand drive market. Although, as we know, the Semi is a universal center position. But the reason why it's not on Australia's website yet is because the Tesla Semi is 2.525 meters wide. So it's an inch more than 2.5 meters wide. And in Australia, we have a maximum permissible width of 2.5 meters. So, but as I've said many times on many episodes prior, there has been a Australia-wide move, and effectively everyone's agreeing that the regulations should be amended to either accommodate 2.55 meters or 2.6.
Yeah.
And of course, they only need to do either, and the semi would qualify, and then be able to be bought, in Australia.
I think the top and bottom of it is Australia has got to actually amalgamate with European and/or American standards. We can't stand alone as a standard by ourselves. We're too small
Precisely.
market.
And that's
We've
exactly,
got-
absolutely.
We've got to actually-
So that's going to be two awesome road trips: the Cybertruck in a few years and the semi in a few years.
Yeah.
Maybe one might beat the other. But let's hope not. Let's hope the Cybertruck is once Austin gets ready in about 6 months' time, and they start doing deliveries of the Cybertruck in the US.
I think the Cybertruck would definitely be quicker because they want to get lots of those out, so they'll have spare capacity of those. The semis, they've got to, they're at much lower production rates.
Yeah, they're talking about, I think it was 50,000 per annum. I think they're talking about production of the Tesla semi.
And I think they're actually aiming at a little bit more than 50,000 for the Cybertrucks. I think they're maybe aiming at maybe 100,000.
Yeah, I think it was 50 by the end of next year and 100 sort of long term, something like that. Yeah, which is actually pretty good. That is actually quite good. Of course, one bit of news today, which was sort of, you could say is positive, was that the 4680 has got into, they've produced 868,000 in a month. In a week. Which is sufficient to produce 1,000 cars, and you think that sounds like a lot. And that's why I actually in the news did say that that's also 52,000 per annum, because of course Tesla's deliveries of cars last year was 1 million. So 50,000 out of 1 million is nothing. But of course, at the start of this year, they'd only produced enough to make 1,000 cars in a month. So they've 4x'd that. And, Austin isn't running yet. So this is only out of Fremont and, well, there's two facilities, one at the factory and at Cato Road.
Yeah.
So that's something that the Cybertruck is obviously dependent on, because there is no shadow of a doubt that the Cybertruck batteries are the 4680. That's beyond any doubt whatsoever.
They could do a short range. In the old style batteries, but I think if you want to get the long range, you've got to get the big ones.
Yeah, absolutely. So I hope there's some more good news about that, coming soon, because I just want my Cybertruck.
It's all me, isn't it?
It's all about me. That's right. That's enough about me. What do you think about me? And if you have any comments on me, just put them in the comments below, and make sure you like and subscribe and hit the notification bell and tell your friends.
I agree.
Dearie me. All right, it's getting a little bit later on, a little bit late. I don't think Tesla has opened, but we're not going to bother about that because it's probably just going to be bad news if they do open. In fact, let's just have
if
a look
it is,
at
I hope so, because my money moving to the UK, moving to the US hasn't gone through yet.
So let's just look on the pre-open, and we're up. Oops, no,
111.
I think it was.
We're up a couple of dollars.
It's just got to refresh.
Up a couple of dollars.
It's a little bit slow. Up, yes. So we'll take that up a couple of percent. So
I don't want to hear.
That's not terrible, but let's just see what happens.
I want it to go down, not up.
Life's full of ups and downs, Mark. Just remember, buy low, sell high.
Price is all about me.
Exactly. Alrighty, so we've got any last bit? Go, Paul.
I was just saying, matter of perspective. I think when it was like 300, I was like, how cheap that was. So
I know.
So don't worry about it. It'll be fine.
I just bought. We saying me and my wife just bought some last week. It's 180. Thinking that was a good price.
Yeah. And it will be later. You just hang on long enough.
And it's good to see that your wife, Mark, hasn't gone to you and said, so, Mark, if you thought they were so cheap at $187, $189, why didn't you not buy them this week?
Because unfortunately, like most of us, I don't have a crystal ball.
There's our problem.
Wouldn't that be brilliant?
Oh,
that is exactly right.
Yeah, all you can do is do the best you can at that point in time, and that's all anyone can expect you to do.
Yeah,
absolutely. All
Don't
righty.
get it on March.
Any last drinks before we might wrap this awesome show up?
There's only
last
a few
comment.
left.
Yes. Well, I guess it's a bit of the festive
Well, the
season, isn't it?
Cybertruck talk. Once we started talking about Cybertruck, maybe.
That's exactly right.
I think once we talked about Cybertruck, it all folded, really, didn't it?
Oh, boom, boom.
Oh, that's very deep. That is multi-level depth there. That's
Sorry.
that is very
No,
good.
it's cool.
That is very good. You didn't even have to pre-score the sheet there, Mark, and
No, I
bend
didn't.
it. You know?
No. Oh, sugar.
Dearie me. Alrighty, I think it might be a good time to wrap up. Like I said, next week I'm not certain we're going to have an Ask Us Anything. We may substitute that for our regular bi-monthly casual meetup,
Where's that going to be? Yeah.
unless that casual meetup gets pulled forward to Tuesday, in which case we might still have an Ask Us Anything. Sorry, someone's just sharing something. I can't see it.
Not there.
Whose bed is that? Is that yours, Pete?
Yeah, that was my Christmas present.
So that's because you're in the sin bin, and that's like your wife said, "I've got a present for you, Pete," and it's a single bed, and now she's trying to tell you something.
You got it.
Wow.
Is that pre-Cybertruck or post-Cybertruck?
Well, so I mean, look, Pete, you've had a great relationship. You know, your wife has persisted to be a Tesla widow for just so long, and you know, all good things come to an end. You know, we hope you all the best in the future.
Yeah, and
That's awesome.
Believe me, that bed will also come with its own teddy bear. That's the only comfort you're going to get in life after that.
Dearie me, it really is. Oh, what are we doing?
There we go.
There he is.
Ah.
Yeah. That was taken from Hakia. Was that Hakia or no?
Oh.
Okay. Well, on that champagne sort of ending of the show. Speaking of endings, how would you end an awesome show like this, Pete? As if I didn't know.
As always, stay safe, stay sustainable, and stay ahead of the curve.
The best way to do that is buy a Tesla, join Tokwa, and ask us anything about accelerating the world's transition to sustainable energy.
And making the future awesome.
Absolutely. Have a happy new year, everyone. We will see you in the new year, and we'll either look forward to seeing you next week or the week after on Tokwa's Ask Us Anything. Good night, everyone.
Good night,
guys.
Thank you. Cheers, guys.
Take
Have
care.
a great night.
Cheers.
Have a great
Good night.
year.
Thank you. Bye.